yours, God still might be calling you. If you already have a plan for your life, God still might be calling you. If you love people, God still might be calling you.
I'm Father David Michael Moses. Welcome to the show. 1, 2, 3. Yup, I baptized her when she was just a little baby.
The greatest gift the Lord has given me is the priesthood.
It's gonna be a blast. Stay tuned.
Laudetur Jesus Christus. Praised be Jesus Christ. Hello and welcome to all of you to our live broadcast coming to you here from St. Peter's Square in the Vatican on this Sunday, the 21st Sunday in Ordinary Time. In just a few moments, Pope Francis will be coming to the window there of the Apostolic Palace, as he does every Sunday, to greet the pilgrims and visitors below in the square and to lead the recitation of the Angelus prayer at 12 o'clock. Before leading the recitation of the Angelus prayer, Pope Francis offers some reflections, catechesis on the day, the Sunday Gospel reading. So we'll be hearing from him on today's Gospel and reflections on that, followed by the recitation of the Angelus prayer, and then his greetings to all those in the square there. You can see in these live images coming to you in St. Peter's Square. You can see a lot of fans waving there because the heat is still on here in the Eternal City. Very hot and at times sultry weather here. You can see that banner there hanging from the window from which Pope Francis will greet everyone in the square below. I'd like to thank all of our television partners who are joining us, including Catholic Television, Catholic Faith Network, Shalom World Television Networks USA, Salt and Light Television, EWTN Television, Shalom Television India, and Atmadarshan Television India, and Uganda Catholic Television. Also thanks to our radio partners, Radio Maria England and Luminous Radio India. Those among the various television and radio broadcasters linking up with us for this broadcast, and of course many websites around the world, our Facebook Live feed, or joining us live on YouTube. Some of you may also be using our app, our Radio Vaticana app, the Vatican News web portal, or the Vatican Audio Live Events app, from which you can hear or watch this broadcast live or on demand later on. You'll find a report on what Pope Francis will have to say here on our web portal, vaticannews.va. That and many other reports on what the Pope is saying and doing. And we see the curtains opening there, Pope Francis appearing at the window. To let our radio listeners know what's happening. Pope Francis waving to the crowds there, gathered in the square, as he begins to address all present. Dear brothers and sisters, buongiorno. Today in the Gospel, Jesus asks the disciples, "Who do men say that the Son of Man is?" It's a question we too can ask. What do Jesus' people say? In general, they say good things. Many see him as a great teacher, as a special person, good, righteous, consistent, courageous. But is this enough to understand who he is? And above all, is it enough for Jesus? No, indeed, if he were simply a person from the past, figures known by the people, cited in the Gospel there, John the Baptist, Moses, Elijah, and the great prophets, he would merely be a good memory of a bygone time. And for Jesus, this will not do. Therefore, immediately afterwards, the Lord asks the disciples the decisive question, But who do you say that I am? Your today, the protagonist of your today, not a distant prophet, but the God who is close to us. Christ is not a memory of the past, but the God of the present. If he were merely a historic figure, to imitate him today would be impossible. We would find ourselves faced with the great chasm of time, and above all, faced with his example, which is like a very high, unscalable mountain. We would want to climb it, but lack the ability and the necessary means. Instead, Jesus is alive. Let's remember this. Jesus is alive. Jesus is living in our church. Jesus accompanies us. He's at our side. He offers us his word and his grace, which enlighten and refresh us on the journey. He's our expert, our wise God, and is happy to accompany us on the most difficult paths and the most inaccessible slopes. Dear brothers and sisters, we are not alone on the path of life, because Jesus is with us, and he helps us to walk, as he did with Peter and the other disciples. It's precisely Peter in today's Gospel who understands this, and by grace recognizes in Jesus the Christ, the Son of the living God. Not a person from the past, but the Christ, that is, the Messiah. The Son of the living God, made man and come to share the joys and the labors of our journey. So let's not be discouraged then. If at times the summit of Christian life seems too high and the path too steep, let's look to Jesus always. Let's look to Jesus who accompanies us, walks beside us, who welcomes our frailties, who shares our efforts and rests his firm and gentle arm on our weak shoulders. With him close at hand, let's also reach out to one another and renew our trust. And with Jesus, what seems impossible on our own is no longer so. Today, it'd be good for us to repeat the decisive question that comes from Jesus himself, his mouth. Who do you say that I am? You. Jesus says, you. Who do you say that I am? So Jesus is asking us. In other words, who is Jesus for me? A great figure, a point of reference, an unattainable example or role model? Or God, the Son, who walks by my side, who can lead me to the peak of holiness? that I cannot reach by myself? Is Jesus truly living in my life? Is He my Lord? Do I entrust myself to Him in moments of difficulty? Do I cultivate His presence through the Word and the sacraments? Do I let myself be guided by Him, together with my brothers and sisters in the community? May Mary, Mother of the Journey, help us be aware of the living presence of her Son beside us.
Et concepit de Spiritu Sancto.
Ave Maria, gratia plena, Dominus tecum, benedicta tui mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus.
Sancta Maria, Mater Dei, ora pro nobis peccatoribus, nunc et in hora mortis nostre. Amen.
Ecce ancilla Domini.
Fiat mi secundum verbum tuum.
Ave Maria, gratia plena, Dominus tecum, benedicta tui mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus.
Sancta Maria, Mater Dei, ora pro nobis peccatoribus, nunc et in hora mortis nostre. Amen.
Et verbum caro factum est.
Et habitavit in nobis.
Ave Maria, gratia plena, Dominus tecum, benedicta tui mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus.
Sancta Maria, Mater Dei, ora pro nobis peccatoribus, nunc et in hora mortis nostre. Amen.
Ora pro nobis, Santa Dei Genitris.
Ut digni efficiamur promissionibus Christi.
Grazie a Tua, in questo Domine, mentibus nostris infunde, piangere annunziante Christi Fili Tui, incarnazione coniovim, per passione meius et crucem, a resurrezione gloriam perducamur, per Christum Dominum nostrum.
Amen.
Gloria Patri et Filio et Spiritui Sancto.
Sic ut erat in principio et nunc et semper, et in saecula saeculorum. Amen.
Gloria Patri et Filio et Spiritui Sancto.
Sic ut erat in principio et nunc et semper, et in saecula saeculorum. Amen.
Gloria Patri et Filio et Spiritui Sancto.
Sic ut erat in principio et nunc et semper, et in saecula saeculorum. Amen.
Pro fidelibus defuntis, requiem aeterna dona eis Domine.
Et lux perpetua lucet Deis.
Requiescant in pace.
Amen.
Sit nomen Domini benedictum.
Ex hoc nunc et usque in saeculum.
Aiuterium nostrum in nomine Domini.
Qui fecit caelum et terram.
Benedicat vos, omnipotens Deus, Pater, Filius, et Spiritus Sanctus. Amen.
Pope Francis giving his apostolic blessing there after the recitation of the Angelus prayer. Dear brothers and sisters, next Thursday, I'll be going into the heart of Asia for a trip here for a few days to Mongolia. It's a journey I've been wishing to make, visiting a country with a small number of faithful, but with a great charity and a great tradition. It's a noble and wise people with great religious traditions, and I look forward to getting to know those traditions. It will be a grand moment for interreligious dialogue and encounter. I'm very happy to be with you very soon in Mongolia. I wish to tell my brothers and sisters in Mongolia, and I'd like to thank the authorities there. And I'd like to thank all of them for all the great efforts there in making this trip possible. I ask you please to accompany me and us in prayer with this journey. I ask you please also to remember in your prayers the many victims of the wildfires in Greece. I express my solidarity and closeness to the people of Greece. And I ask you also to please remember the suffering people of Ukraine, suffering from the war. Let's not forget the people of Ukraine. And I greet all the various pilgrims from Italy and other countries here in the square. I'm greeting the various parish groups from Madrid and faithful from parts of Italy, Molfetta, down south.
I fedeli di San Gaetano di Thiene e Melia, le famiglie del quartiere Pizzocarano di San Cataldo,
Pope Francis greeting the various groups from parts of Italy, as well as a group of bicyclists. Many pilgrims from different dioceses throughout Italy there in the square. Today we remember Saint Monica, mother of Saint Augustine. Her prayers and tears, asking the Lord for her son's conversion. She was a strong, great woman. Let's remember all the mothers out there who also, their sons and daughters who are maybe on the wrong path. To all of you, I wish you a very good Sunday. Please remember to pray for me. Have a good lunch. And arrivederci. Pope Francis there, in his greetings at the conclusion of the Sunday Angelus prayer, greeting the various groups there in the square present, asking us to accompany him in prayer on his journey to Mongolia, the Northeast Asian nation he will be visiting on Thursday. He leaves Rome on Thursday, returns on Monday. Vatican News, we'll be covering all those events. We'll have live broadcasts of the various meetings with the Catholic community, with the leaders of the country, the interreligious gatherings that will be taking place there. You'll find info on that on our website, vaticannews.va. So please be sure to join us for that. Before that time, of course, we have the audience on Wednesday, the general audience, when Pope Francis meets with pilgrims gathered in Rome here in the Eternal City. I'd like to thank you all for joining us for the live broadcast here. Once again, please visit vaticannews.va for all the latest, or our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter presence for the latest. On behalf of Vatican Media, I wish you all a blessed Sunday. Laudetur Jesus Christus, praised be Jesus Christ.